Epstein with your morning flash update. And this update is for Wednesday, the 29th of May, 2024, 8:25 a.m. Central Time. And we have a stock market that's in a correction phase. Not yet on my work in the NASDAQ, even though it's down 170 points, but certainly the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell. And they are coming down to important numbers, some of them getting towards their lower Bollinger Bands. I'd pay attention to that. If we take a look at the metals, this is just the type of correction that I'm looking for. I want to see this market back and forth here against their 18-day average of closes. Now, before we get too far, I want to remind you that we have our Memorial Day sale. It ends this Friday, so it's right in front of you. 40% off any of my courses. Go to the word education at iraepstein.com. And if you decide for the research, which is where I put out my morning videos and my twice daily written updates and special updates, well, that's 40% off too. Just go to the word research. And be sure when you go to research to move the bar where it says yearly, because we're not giving the 40 off on the monthly. Got it? And you can always, if that's hard, just move your cursor to the top. We'll have an icon there. It'll take you right to the front page of the website. So let's go and take a look at the data that we're getting out right now, because I do think it's fairly important. And let's see if I can get this to work for me. And I think that's it. There we are. The mortgage market indexes all came out weak. 5.7% decline in the headline, the purchase down 1.1, and the refi down 13.6. Then Redbook sales. You know, this is the first time I recall that both numbers were over 6% in maybe years. So we keep seeing that, but then when the retail sales come out, they're not quite as strong as this. So I'm not quite certain what gives. It's got to be something different in the measurement way. The Richmond Fed's going to update their monthly manufacturing sector for May around 9. So far, every of the ones we've been getting have been very weak on the industrial manufacturing. And we might see that today at 1 o'clock in the Fed Beige Book, which is where we get anecdotes from all the different Fed regions as to what they're seeing in the marketplace, what's labor look like, what's the business climate doing. I read through that all the time. I'll be sending that to all my subscribers when it comes out today. And API numbers come out at 3:30. I know that the EIA is looking for a decline of 1.9 million barrels in the crude oil stock. So we'll see what that does. Now, as I was saying to you before, we have a market that has been looking at the dollar coming up today, a bit of a break in most currencies today. We'll see if that's going to hold or not. What is going on is the market is looking at the PCE. We're going to get some GDP numbers, and we're going to get PCE, which is going to be very important for Friday. Just how much is inflation cooling? I don't know anyone that thinks it's getting hotter in terms of the surveys that I'm reading, but if it does, that'll be a real problem for the market. We're also seeing that, again, Kashkari came out, the Fed president, and he is talking again that we might have to have interest rate hikes if this inflation doesn't come down. That's spooking the market because he's been very vocal about that. If you're trying to get a handle on the grain market, don't. It is a market that's just whipping back and forth. This is so typical in the month of May because you're always in a race to get the crops planted. Then the question is for June, how did things look at the beginning? And of course, in July, how much heat do you get? That is inevitably how this game plays out. I've been around it a long time. In the energy markets, a mixed bag. I think we got a little bit too high on the rebob. I'm going to move that over to the July contract. Not sure why it reverted back. And remember, we're going to be losing a lot of these June contracts over the next couple of weeks or so. I've already changed to the August gold, so keep that in the back of your mind. I'm Ira Epstein. Remember, 40% off. Move your cursor to the top here, and I'll see you at the end of the day with our market wrap-up.